What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. This message is to all the white folks out there protesting in America. All right, because, black folks, we on vacation, staycation, weekation, daycation. We just on cation, right? But you white guys, you white gals and guys out there protesting, fighting a good fight, you guys need to watch out because you're being set up. Okay, let me tell you what's going to happen. Donald Trump needs one of you guys to cross the line. He needs one of y'all guys to get so upset that his Gestapo, neo-Nazi, Fourth Reich, are out here harassing and killing civilians. He wants that one incident to happen. He just needs one of you white guys, just one, to hurt a federal police officer. Just one. Preferably delete. Because remember, Donald Trump does not care about any of those ICE officers that have a racist Nazi battery in their back right now. While they're out there thinking that General Trump has their backs 100%, he only has his interests, at heart and on his mind. So he needs one of you white people to maybe bring a gun to the protests and fire it and hit a federal police officer. He needs one of y'all to maybe hit one with a car for real this time and finish the job. He needs one of you guys out of the millions and millions of white folks protesting. All right? He need one of y'all to just take it a little further. Because as soon as you do that, martial law. And as soon as you do that, elections are canceled because of martial law. Are you listening? He needs you to do this quick, fast, in a hurry before midterms come up. So if you guys can just hold your mayonnaise just for a little bit, go out there and protest, but keep your hands to yourself. Do not give Donald Trump the ability to call for martial law. Do not give him the ability to reach in the bag of some law that we ain't never heard of that they can pull out and pluck and say, because this happened, we can do this now. He really needs you to do that because he knows, he's been knowing that if he didn't become the president, he was going to jail. The dude been dodging and weaving bullets. But keep in mind, them bullets are still in the air. And them bitches is turning around. And Donald Trump does not have anything to lose. None of these people in this white administration, this neo-Nazi white authoritarian administration, have anything to lose because they've already went full retard. They have no choice but to maintain power because they know once they let go, there will be retribution. Do you understand what's going to happen? You guys understand what's going to happen after all this is done? If you think that the white racists can do all of this and not think there's going to be a dramatic course correction, y'all guys are mistaken. And they know this. Therefore, to stop the course from correcting, they're going to stop the party altogether. All right? He's gearing up. He's not going any. The dude is damn near what he's like, 79, 80. Worst case scenario, he got what? How much more time left on this earth? He already on his way out. He literally had, by the time you can get this dude in jail, first of all, Donald Trump has immunity, right? So by the time we can legislate away his immunity to hold him accountable, he's going to be kicking the bucket anyway. Trump done got away with it. Because even regular white, not white supremacy, allowed him to get away with it. Keep that in mind. Regular white allowed him to get away with it because they were complacent about white supremacy because they don't view white supremacy as a threat until, then they start dropping. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, white supremacy. Right. The complacent non-white supremacists are a major problem. The sustainable ignorance of white America. All right. So guys, while you out there beating your drums and shit, throwing goddamn gas and throwing rocks and doing all this shit, just understand it's only going to take one law enforcement. Remember, this is the same dude who, when his little neo-Nazi 19-year-old got beat up by a 15-year-old girl in D.C. because he was being racist and wasn't minding his own business, he sent the National Guard into Washington, D.C. for that. He really needs one of y'all to take one of these unqualified neo-Nazi federal law enforcement out. He really would appreciate if you did that, because that will secure his ability to implement martial law so that he can stay in power indefinitely. And then even more unqualified, white, fat, bald, middle-aged, deprived men will join even more newly made-up law enforcement agencies to secure his legacy and his hold on power. And that right there will require white men, okay, other white men who dropped the ball the first time he was elected, the second time he was elected, and the third time. Well, first time he was elected, the second time he lost, and the third time he won. All you complacent white folks are going to have to become uncomplacent. Then you're going to have to tap into your savage barbarian ways. That's when the civil war y'all been talking about happens. But it's only going to be between you white folks. We're not involved. The only thing we're going to do as black folks is protect our communities. While you know, just in case y'all decide to step up in our communities and take a few, that shit's not going to happen. We're going to annihilate you if you come into our communities. For all you guys understand, you're getting annihilated. All right. This ain't them old days. If you racist people try to come in our black communities, you're getting annihilated. We have the same thing you got, and we're more trained than you. Trust me. There was a time when you were, but we are more trained than you. All right. So listen, don't give them a reason. All right. All right. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach them. I'm out.
Watch what ICE just did in Minnesota. Yes, that appears to be tear gas that they're throwing at peaceful protesters after they have already driven past them. This can't possibly be legal. Is that where we want our taxpayer dollars going?
Biden! Our tax money paid for this! Go! Enough! Enough!
Before the midterm elections in November, Donald Trump is going to declare martial law. See, Trump knows he's so unpopular, he's not only going to lose the House, but the Senate. And if that happens, he's going to be impeached, removed from office, possibly tried, convicted, and sent to prison for the rest of his life, along with his corrupt cabinet. Trump is never going to let that happen. He'll declare martial law so none of us can leave our homes or our neighborhoods and vote. And we'll be left with Trump as a dictator indefinitely. Our one way out through voting as a democracy in these midterm elections is never going to happen, my friends. I'm sorry to say that, but I've known this criminal for 30 years. I know how sick he is. People think he thinks like a normal person and he wouldn't do something like declare martial law just to avoid an election. That's where not knowing him comes into play. This is a very sick guy. These elections, never going to happen.
Someone should tell ICE that non-lethal rounds can still be deadly force. Because last Friday, ICE agents fired non-lethal rounds at a 21-year-old's eye, causing him to be permanently blind. And after they fired at his face, they drug him by the hood of his hoodie inside the federal building while he was choking, and then forced his face down into a pool of his own blood as they taunted him that he would never be able to see out of his left eye again as he begged for an ambulance. To be clear, no one from the protest at the Santa Ana Federal Building last Friday night was trying to breach the federal building or even get closer to it. But throughout the evening, Homeland Security agents kept coming out of the building and firing non-lethal rounds at the protesters. Hayden Rumler had a 6-hour-long surgery where doctors extracted shards of glass, metal, and plastic out of his eyes and from around his face, and had a piece of metal 7 millimeters away from an artery that they can't remove because it could kill him if they do. Oh, And he has a fractured skull from this encounter. Tell me again how ICE agents are making Americans safer again.
Donald Trump is about to invoke the Insurrection Act. He just said this on national television, okay? The Insurrection Act has not been invoked since 1992 during the Rodney King riots, when the city of Los Angeles needed help from the federal government because they lost control of the rioters. Okay, Trump has fabricated these so-called extremist situations in cities like Portland, Chicago, Los Angeles, Memphis, Baltimore, etc., for the purpose to leading to the path of declaring martial law. The Insurrection Act basically allows him to bypass any judge's decision that says he's exaggerating, he cannot put troops on the street. Judges are blocking him all over the country. You've probably seen this. Well, he can invoke the Insurrection Act, which allows him to bypass all of these judges' decisions. One man in the United States can invoke the Insurrection Act. That's the President of the United States. It's designed for real emergencies. He has fabricated this entire situation for the purpose of putting the military in the streets of every Democratic city in the country. So when the midterm elections come around in November 2026, people will be terrified. They will be paralyzed to leave their homes, and even more frightened of voting against this wannabe dictator. MAGA, freedom-loving Americans all across the country. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or anything else. Please wake up. We are just a few short months from losing our democracy, from losing our freedom, once he declares martial law. If you think I'm exaggerating, look this up for yourself. Once he declares martial law, you won't be able to leave your neighborhood without permission from the United States military. There'll be curfews all across the country. You won't be able to go out of your home after a certain time. You won't be able to do anything unless Trump says it's okay.
MAGA genuinely wants a civil war, and that's why Trump's acting the way he is. They are trying to stoke the flames and get people to react so that he has the authority to declare martial law. And in that instance, he could legally suspend due process and basically just hold people as prisoners if they're a threat to the stability of the United States. And we're already seeing instances of this happen now. Like, transgender people are unable to get passports. A lot of them are unable to leave the country. Leftist activists have been put on actual terror watch lists. Who knows, I might be on one. Here's a post in the MAGA Facebook group about civil war, which again, they want. They want a purge because they want the authority to legally use all these weapons they've been collecting to go out and take out their enemies. They want to take out people of color, queer people, trans people, any minority, outspoken leftists, or race traitors, which I've been called numerous times. And it's a lot of the people who have Confederate flags in their yard that want to recreate that Confederacy. So they have the legal authority and moral authority to take out their enemies, to people. A lot of wars have been fought in the name of Christianity, and I genuinely believe that people on the right would see this as such. They would see it as like a holy war to preserve their way of life.
The plan that Trump has is martial law, and we need to normalize the conversation around this so we don't fall into the trap. He wants violence. That's why they're using ICE officers, yes, to deport brown people because they want some sort of white, racist state. They want to get rid of all the brown immigrants. They want all the South Africans, but get rid of the brown people. That's what they're doing. But they're throwing their bodies in front of people. Jonathan Ross positioned himself in front of Renee's car. Wasn't supposed to do that, not trained to do that. Or are they? And of course, then he shoots her, murders her point blank. It's a tragedy. And they want this fight, but I don't think they were prepared to murder a white woman and understand the ramifications from that. Now, everyone's life has value. Everyone's got life, liberty, and should have the pursuit of happiness and be able to protest or drive their car without fear of being assassinated like that. And yet, because the visual is a white Christian woman, who, by the way, if you don't think she's Christian because she's lesbian, that just shows where you are in your sort of evolution about what really matters in this world. But that's what they're doing. They did it at the Target right, where there's two Latino guys that were filming ICE agents, and one of the ICE officers walked quickly in order to get in the way of this other brown guy, and in doing so then arrested the brown guy. It's akin to you running into someone's fist, like just running into their fist and then saying that they punched you. That's what they want. Reckless chaos. And then they can claim martial law when the people don't accept it, and then create this like police state and say, well, we have a domestic war happening here. We have domestic terrorism. We can't possibly hold midterm elections in the middle of this domestic terrorism. So that's it. Make sure everybody knows the game plan as you watch it play out. Call it out. Martial law is what they want. They're going to use that to try to prevent the midterms because Trump knows he's going to lose and then get impeached. Do something about it now. Demand your elected officials do something now before it's too late.
You've probably seen speculation that Trump is going to declare martial law on April 20th, so let's talk about where that's coming from. And I know you only have an attention span of 15 seconds, but I need you to stay with me until the end if you want everything to make sense. Okay, so do you remember on Trump's inauguration day when he signed a ton of executive orders? Well, one of those orders gives the Department of Homeland Security a deadline of April 20th to submit a written report to Trump recommending whether or not he should invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. And if you're not familiar with the Insurrection Act, that's the law that lets him use the military against civilians to control protests or other civil disturbances. Okay, wait, don't leave me yet, I'm almost done. So if you Google April 19th, you'll see a second wave of hands-off protests are scheduled in all 50 states that day. There's no way we're believing that a nationwide protest is just coincidentally planned the day before Trump is supposed to declare martial law, right? Anyways, my advice if you're going out on April 19th is if someone tries to escalate violence, they're a Fed, and you should immediately walk away. I don't know what to tell you about April 20th, though. Maybe we can all meet up and hitchhike into Canada or something.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.